From Crosby Village
to your radio.
Bliss Radio.
For a Wednesday morning, already we are halfway through the working week, September the 19th that is, and it's time for Kevin McMahon and friends today. Obviously Kevin, who is here with his beard.
Hi, Roy.
Yeah. That's it. How long did he, and I've got to mention the beard because obviously it's just been brought up. Emma's just brought it up. How long does it take you to grow a beard like that, Kevin?
I think I've had this about 4 years, this beard.
Yeah? Oh, right. Was it because of these couldn't be bothered shaving and through me?
Kind of.
Yeah. I hate shaving.
No, just a change and then it got out of hand.
I absolutely hate shaving, but we're not here to talk about shaving. We are here to talk with your other guests. Can I just move you a little closer in there, if you would, please? Pauline Fleming, who is an actress, animal rights campaigner to a certain degree, aren't you? Certainly interested in the welfare of animals. Yeah. And I might add as well, it was your friend, of course, Emma, that you brought it in because you, rather than use this as an opportunity just to talk about your life in art, you wanted to use this as an opportunity to get the message across about the Freshfield Centre as well, didn't you?
I did. A rescue centre.
Rescue centre. What did I say then?
Yeah, because I started working for them a couple of months ago. Met up with Emma. They needed somebody to come in and help them with the fundraising. So I went for it, and she gave me a tour of the centre. And it really does hit home on how much help is needed out there.
Yeah.
For the whole range of animals. As you hear, they don't ever turn any animal away. So, and it's all based on voluntary contribution.
Yeah. Well, yeah, fascinating stuff. And as I say, we will have an ongoing situation with that. But let's talk a little bit about you anyway. I mean, you are an actress primarily. I would have thought that is your primary role in life.
It is, Roy. Okay. It is now.
Well, how did all this come about? Has it always been something you've done from a very early age?
Oh, God, yeah. 300 years,
is it?
About, I think. Wow. And in fact, I think Kevin and I go back about that long, don't we?
300 years, yeah. Well, I think... Roy mentioned before, how did you and Pauline meet? So you have to give it a bit of thought to that. How did that happen? I'll see if I'm right here, Pauline.
Go on.
Last week, we had Dean in and we were talking and reminiscing, as you do.
Yeah.
And we talked about Blue Remembered Hills, which was over 25 years ago. And
But you'd have only been 275?
Yeah, exactly. And but Pauline and I were in that together.
Yes.
And I knew that for certain. And I thought, was that the first thing we were in? Possibly it was, but I knew you before then. But am I right?
It's 28 years ago that. So
is it?
Yeah, it's 28. Because I remember my daughter Cornelia was only 6 months old, and so she kept on coming to the set where we were rehearsing. So yeah, that's about 28 years ago. So I think that probably is about when we met. But of course, I go back longer than that because I went to Sheila Elliott Clark to train. Probably about 15, 20 years before that as well.
Right.
15, yeah.
Okay.
Years ago.
So what would have been your first role? Your first paid role in the theatre or on television?
Okay, the first paid theatre role as a professional was with Theatre Clwyd, doing
Beautiful
Chorus
theatre.
of Disapproval. Yeah. And I went to London for an audition. The audition was in Pineapple Studios, and it was a music. I can't remember what that was for, but I went along with a friend of mine who was also in the business. We were both students together, and we went along to Pineapple Studios, and I was called into this dance call.
Right.
Now, as my friend, who is an actor, he says about me, it looks like it should, but it doesn't.
Right, okay.
As in dance. Okay, so I turned up at this, I had to dance for this audition, of course. I didn't get it. When I left Pineapple Studios, a couple walking past me heard me moaning about this audition, said, if you've got some music with you, she's music with you, there's a Theatre Clwyd auditioning, go on in. And I had Doris Day's Secret Love, which was my audition song at the time, so I gate crashed the audition.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. And
I got it. So my first professional show was Chorus of Disapproval,
right,
with Clifford Williams directing, and we opened at Theatre Clwyd and then toured for 6 months. But then it was called Number One Tour because it was all the big venues, but they were number one tours then. So that was my very first theatre, professional theatre, yeah.
And then you progressed.
A long time.
Progressed into television.
I did, yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, I'd done bits of TV, one-off little children's show and little dramas, but all one-eps until I landed Brookside.
Right, okay. And what was the character you played in Brookside?
Val Walker.
Right,
and
okay.
I became everyone's Auntie Val. I was Claire Sweeney's auntie, Dean Sullivan, Jimmy Corkill's sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Jackie Corkill's sister. And I then became Sinbad's girlfriend, and we got engaged. And I absolutely loved working on Brookside. I did a year in the end. Absolutely loved it. Had such a laugh with Mickey Stark and Lewis Emmerich. And then what happened was, in the storyline, Sinbad finds out Jimmy had a fling with his sister-in-law, because apparently there was a shot of an arm coming off the sofa, and so Sinbad chucked Val.
Oh, right.
And that was the end of Val.
That was the end of it. So
Yeah. And I was devastated.
on the dole.
And the doll, yeah, literally.
Well, I mean, it is. I always got that impression. I mean, you'll know this as well, Kevin, because well, you had a stint. Didn't you play Dean's Brief or something like that?
Dean's drug dealer.
Dean's drug dealer.
Yeah.
Easy mistake to make.
Yes, probably not much difference.
But yeah, allegedly. Yeah. So I always got the impression, and because you'll know this from speaking to Pauline and speaking to Dean, that there's a tremendous camaraderie that seems to exist on the Brookside set.
Well, it is, and of course, for obvious reasons, you had a lot of local actors in it, and you tended to know each other and work together on other projects separately. So over the years, you keep in touch with those people and you know them. And there's two that Pauline just mentioned, Mickey Stark and Lewis Emmerich, working all the time. Lewis continually working.
Lewis is always working. I've worked on stage with both Lewis and Mickey as well, because I was Mickey's wife in Lucky Numbers at the Royal Court. That was about 4 or 5 years ago. And I, last year, was on stage with Lewis Emmerich in The Full Monty.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's quite nice to have done Brookie with them, being in a storyline with the three of them as well, because there was a kind of love triangle in Brookie between the three of us, and then to go on stage with them, which is quite nice.
And did you think when you were in Brookside that one day you're going to see Lewis Emmerich with his clobbered off?
No, I didn't. but it's a really good show. It's a smash hit.
Now, talking about musicals, you're currently playing Silla's mum, are you? Or?
Well, I was. Last year we toured the new Scylla musical, and Cara Lily Hobarth, absolutely stunning performer, playing Scylla. And I played Big Syl, her mum.
Right.
And that toured until end of April, and then I chose to not go again with it, because I'd been on the road by then 9 months. I'd already been previously on the road for 9 months with the Full Monty, and so I wanted to go and do something else, maybe go back into TV again, or get because I do a lot of comedy on stage.
Oh, right, okay.
A lot of comedy, that's what I'm billed as now. But I do serious gritty theatre too, but I haven't done it for such a long time. With my agent as well, I've needed to dig my heels in and say, no, I want to hang out now and wait for something that's a bit more gritty. Right.
When you say comedy, are you talking about you were doing like a stand-up comedy routine?
Oh no, I don't do stand-up. I don't stand. I don't do that. But I do comedy theatre. So and I've done a lot over the years, because I've been at the Royal Court the last few years as well. Say Lucky Numbers was my first one. Then I did Canoeing for Beginners.
Oh,
do you know what? That's not mine.
It's not.
I just want the world to know.
It's not mine either,
Bliss
Roy.
listeners, that's not my phone.
That, isn't it? It's a schoolboy out of that, isn't it? You know what I mean? So debt collectors, they pick their moments, don't they? Sorry, go on.
So no, it's namely theatre shows that comedy, comic theatre shows that I get cast in. I don't do stand-up.
I made a point earlier, because I do this thing about birthdays, and not only people excuse me, who are currently celebrating birthdays, but people who would have been celebrating their birthday had they still been alive. And that would have been the case of Adam West today, the guy that played the original Batman. And it's one of those things that I actually found when you watch the people who played the characters in that, Adam West, Burt Ward, who played Robin, and the Commissioner Gordon, were brilliant actors. Brilliant actors, because this is the distinction. There's no such thing as a comedy actor and a serious actor. There's just good actors who can do both, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion. And I just thought, because they're not playing it for laughs, if you ask me. They're playing it really serious. And as a result of playing it really serious, the comedy that comes from it is incredible. So if you want to respond to that.
Yeah, because I don't think every good actor can do both.
Right.
You know, I know some brilliant serious actors that do gritty brilliantly, and with comedy, because it's about timing, for want of a better expression. I think it's a different technique, and yes, it's absolutely right. As soon as you play for the laugh, you're not funny. If you think, as the actor, if you think you're funny, then you're not.
Right.
I think that's a.
I know what you're going with it.
Exactly, because it's an Eric Morecambe quote, isn't it? Because apparently that's what he said. Look, as long as you don't think you're funny, then you'll be funny, and that's fact. So you've got to play it for the realism, but with the timing. So there's two things to consider in comedy. Right. You've got to think of the rhythm of it, almost like, you know, there's almost a choreography to it, because there's a beat in it, and also not thinking you're funny.
Yeah,
and there's an awful lot of that goes on stage where the line itself is funny, but if it's delivered in that way, as if to say, "That's funny, isn't it?" Now then you've lost.
Yeah,
lost the gag.
Wait for laughter to subside. All that, you know,
because actually you can make unfunny lines funny.
Yeah,
depending on how you deliver it.
Yeah, no, I get it. And this was another thing about what I've always found with comedians is that, you know, the art of a good comedian is that you can make the audience believe the story, which is so ridiculous, believable. You know, and this is what you're saying about that. But it's no good thinking, I'm going to make you laugh with this. No, because it's you're making a rod for your own back, really, aren't you? Like,
yeah.
I think that applies very much to your classic comedy of manners, particularly. You need your Noel Coward and an Oscar Wilde play, incredibly funny, but you need a lightness of touch in order to play those roles. Yeah, roles by the way, I very much enjoy. That's my genre of playing roles like that.
Yeah. From Crosby Village
to your radio.
On a Wednesday between 12 and 1 today, it is open airwaves, and then from 1 till 3 this afternoon, Mark Snalin's Afternoon Delights. Becoming quite a popular show, that one. So if you like some of the stories and listen to the man's passion for music, then you're going to enjoy that particular segment between 1 and 3 o'clock today with Mark Snalin. Afternoon Delights. Well, we've got some morning delights at the moment, because Kevin McMahon is with me, and his guest today, who he's brought along, is Pauline Fleming, actress, amongst many other things as well, which we'll try and get through as much as we possibly can between now and midday. Now then, we've spoken about your time at Brookside, some of the theatrical stuff that you've done, but you were, for quite a period of time on Coronation Street, the love interest of one Mike Baldwin, were you not?
I was, for 3 years. Yeah. Penny King. And again, I seem to go from soap to soap in a love triangle. Right. Because in Brookside, I was in a love triangle with Mick and Sinbad, and then they brought me to Corrie, and then all of a sudden, before I knew it, I was in a love triangle with Mike Baldwin and Freddie. Right. Fred.
Not Fred G.
Fred, you know, I say.
Oh,
behind the bar, Freddie.
Oh, yeah. Peter Savidin.
John Savidin.
John Savidin, that's him, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Fred Elliott, that's him. No, I'm with you now,
He fell in love with Penny, well, Penny was in love with Mike.
Right.
So she broke Fred's heart.
Does it concern you a little bit that these, like, you know, these things?
My life.
She looks like a love triangle person.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But we won't go into that today.
Right. It must have been great though. Being on Coronation Street is you know, Brookside is a great soap, but the Coronation Street is perhaps maybe another little level up early, isn't it?
Well, Johnny Briggs used to say it's the biggest show in the world.
Right.
Okay, and do you know what? I think it is. Because it's like everywhere you go, everybody knows about Coronation Street. And in lots of ways, it is the biggest show in the world.
Oh, if you mind me just coming in there, you mentioned something there about everywhere you go. Yeah. That's quite right.
Yeah.
I know you haven't forgotten about Pauline, but wasn't Coronation Street somehow a tipping point to you going to New Zealand?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was indeed.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it had that bad effect on you, you just wanted to get that far away from it, like, you know.
Well, a few years after I came out, I was out of Coronation Street. I was on the road again. I did a new show, a new comedy show about pole dancing. Believe it or not, I learned how to pole dance.
Pole dancing, love interest.
Oh, I
love
know,
triangle.
I know.
There's a pattern for me.
And then there was another show I was in, but I can't remember which one. Oh, Mum's the Word I did. Mum's the Word. And then I decided to uproot and go. My daughter had grown up. She was off to university in Aberdeen, so she was going so far away. And I thought, I'll just reinvent myself somewhere else. And so I put my house on the market and got myself an agent in New Zealand before I even got to New Zealand, on the back of Coronation Street, because Coronation Street was still on in New Zealand with me in it. So off I went to New Zealand for a while. I ended up coming back, but it was a great experience.
Did you get the equivalent of New Zealand Street down there or anything?
Yeah,
no?
it was not quite, but there is a soap.
Yeah.
And Adam, who used to be in Coronation Street, I can't remember his name now, but he was already there in the soap.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It was a bit weird.
What was the schedule? I want to imagine it's quite a punishing schedule working on a soap, because Coronation Street used to be on a couple of nights a week years ago, and now it's pretty much every night a week. What's the kind of process? Did he give you the script on a Tuesday night? You've got to have it learned by the Wednesday. Or?
Oh, absolutely. You can turn up in the green room and go, "That's changed, by the way, Pauline. Can you learn it now?" So literally it is changing that quickly sometimes. So you have to really think on your feet. And I think when I first went into the show, I'd only been there 5 minutes, and a lot of the scenes had changed in this particular episode. But you do it. You just do it.
What's a typical day like on the set, Coronation Street? What times it starts? What times it finishes? What happens?
Well, you can be, if you're first up in makeup, you're there for about 7:15. And then right through till 7:30 at night, last up in makeup. And the rest of the time is either sitting in the green room waiting for your shot, or you're on the set, or you're on your way to on location. And that's it. It's just a constant stream of being in certain places as and when.
Are they filming things, multiple scenes at the same time? Yeah, that's going on.
Yeah. And there's a really nice buzz to the place, and it's a very, very different feel to Brookside. It felt like Brookside was just loads of laughs, actually, and it was lots and lots of fun. Coronation Street is more of an institution, and you're very aware that you have to kind of earn your place there. Because it's been going on for so long. And even though I wasn't an avid watcher of it, when I saw some of the older characters that had been there since my childhood walk through the green room, it kind of put me into some kind of dream world. That thinking, How
did it come about? How did you get the part?
Oh, well, I auditioned for a new mum. And I don't think, that was probably about 12 years ago. And I've never kind of been, I don't know what they look for when they're looking for a mum. I don't know what physical type they're looking for. But I didn't get it. And a girl from Fat Friends got it. And she was really good in Fat Friends. So I was glad I'd lost it to her. And then shortly after, they called me in again but only for 2 episodes. That was definitely only going to be 2 episodes. And she was this sunbed goddess, gym queen. So I put my tightest clothes on, got the spray tan out, and came out of the audition going, got that. And I didn't.
Oh, right.
And then I thought, this isn't going to happen. And then they called me in for Penny.
Really?
So I think all the time, the 2 times before, they must have been thinking, oh, there's something for Pauline in this, but we don't know yet. And I think, if anything, my height suited Johnny.
Right.
Because Johnny was quite a short guy. So I could make Johnny look tall. And I think that was one of the things that was... And, we worked well together, Johnny and I. We did. We worked really well together for 3 years.
What are you doing now?
Well, I've just finished the Scylla tour. As I say, I was asked to go back into Scylla, but I've chosen not to. So now I'm in talks with my agent about where we're going to go next. TV gig would be great, but we're in talks at the moment.
What's your preferred role? What kind of person? If you've already not played it, would you like to play?
Well, you see, this is it. Because I've been doing comedy for so long, it's almost like, if you physically exercise, you have to change the class because your body gets used to a certain routine. I think acting is a little bit like that. So because I've been doing so much comedy, I have to go and do something really gritty now, something gritty and really dark. And so that's what I'm edging towards.
What would you say then? What would you say then? Because you've cast people in plays and stuff like that before. If you could think of a role that Penny could do, Penny, can I call you Penny?
It's okay, Alan.
Sorry, Pauline's now.
No, you've really put me on the spot.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, we last worked together a couple of years ago now in a piece, and this was a poetry piece, a spoken word piece with added music in. It's about the history of Liverpool, and of course, Pauline just slots into that. It's whatever. Really, I would say, I'd look at it the other way and say, I don't think she's right for that. Rather than what is she right for? Because as an actor, you're right for almost anything.
Was you period drama? Does that appeal to you?
Period drama appeals. Yeah, but as I say, at the moment, it's almost like a craving I've got to play something very gritty, something very dark, that's, kind of shocking, so that I exercise that bit of myself. So
I've been there.
So as I say, I'm in talks with my agent about that as we speak, and so we're holding out for some very, straight, gritty theatre.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, Pauline and I were working on a project a couple of years back now, Ashes to Ashes. It never came off. The rights weren't available. We had some problems getting that at the end, which is very unfortunate because that was you could describe that as gritty, would you?
You could, and I've just recently seen that in London because I don't know whether you know, but they're celebrating, the up and coming 10th anniversary of Harold Pinter's death.
Yes.
And so Jamie Lloyd is doing a whole season of Harold Pinter's one-act plays. So I went to the opening night of that last Thursday, and Ashes to Ashes was amongst it. Brilliantly done, absolutely brilliantly done. But it has given me some ideas because I'd still like to put that one on.
What's the most satisfying role, theatre, television, whatever, that you've ever done that you think I really enjoyed that piece?
Okay. For theatre, to date, has got to be playing Paulina in The Winter's Tale, which was an open air production that we did at, I think you were there. I did for Neil Capel directed it, and it was part of Liverpool Shakespeare Company. We did an open air production of it, and I played Paulina. And I don't know whether you know the play, but the difference between Winter's Tale to any of his other plays is all the chaos. It begins with all the chaos. All the chaos is at the beginning of the play, and it slowly unravels as opposed to the other way round. So Shakespeare starts off with what looks like a straightforward story, and then the chaos comes to us at the end. The Winter's Tale is the opposite way round. And Paulina is the kind of peacemaker throughout. Very solid, loyal character, but, forthright, and, says it how it is. Beautiful, beautiful part to play, and I think she's probably the most.
That's your theatrical favourite,
the most satisfying.
Today, other than Ashes to Ashes.
Well, you haven't done it yet. Of course, you have done it.
Well, briefly.
You've done a previous some time ago. Yeah. It's strange to say. My favourite part I played was also open air.
I love open air.
And it was
for the lungs, maybe that's what it is.
Maybe it is, but maybe it was Jack Worthing and the importance of being earnest. Now, the reason
I've played Algernon Moncrief.
Oh, have you? So you know the play well. You know what it's about. And I'd always wanted to play that part, but in the play, one of the lines is Lady Bracknell asks him, "How old are you?" And he says, "I'm 29. Well, I was 40 when I was cast in that, and I thought, wow, because I thought I will never play this part. But during the process of learning the part, you don't just learn the part, you study the play, you study Oscar Wilde, what was he saying about this, etc. And I came across an account by John Gielgud, who played...
Johnny Gielgud.
Yes, who played the part. And he was 40 when he played it.
Yeah, he did,
he changed the line to, how old are you? I'm 39. So with the permission of the director, I said, could I do that? Not a problem. So that one of the reasons is I never thought I would play it, and I got that opportunity to do so. So that's the reason.
Brilliant.
Just before we finish, away from all of this show business, the stuff, you're very conscious about what goes into your body, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I
That's
was going to say that's not quite sure that's the right.
Well, from a digestive point of view, I think I might have just I've got a big corpse situation here, unfortunately for Pauline now. Yes, no, maybe if I'd have worded it a little bit better, like, you're very careful about what you eat. Really.
I am very careful what I eat.
Right, okay, yeah.
So what happened, Roy, if I just explain, I gave up meat 40 years.
Go. Limping from one disaster zone to another.
No, but I gave up eating cow, sheep, pig, and everything like that about 40 years ago. Okay, I was brought up on a meat diet, but I gave it all up when it became trendy. It became a trendy thing to be vegetarian. So I did it to be trendy. I didn't really think, oh my God, I can't stand the cruelty to animals at that point. But I was a kid and wanted to be in with the inset of vegetarians. And then I had my daughter, and she was brought up on practically a vegetarian diet until later we started to introduce fish and chicken again. So my daughter ended up having that sort of diet. And off and on over the years, I've done that. But about 18 months ago, I saw some posts on Facebook on the dairy industry, and I was absolutely astounded at the cruelty of it. And I've always looked after animals. I've always had animals of my own and cared about animals, but I just couldn't understand how people could be so cruel just to line their own pocket, for a want of a better expression. And I know maybe some dairy farms out there would object to that expression and think, well, they've still got to earn a living. But it's the brutality that goes behind it. And it's the brutality from the minute they get onto that truck to the slaughterhouse, and the people who seem to be employed in those slaughterhouses that use it as an excuse to abuse and batter these animals.
Not everybody, of course, but yes, I know what you're getting at. It does go on, and there's no
denying it. There's absolutely no denying it. It goes on. And so I gave all of it up 18 months ago. And then my daughter and my son-in-law followed, actually. Not that I asked them to, but I just did it because I didn't want to live with myself knowing that I was eating that adrenaline and that fear. So I gave it all up, and I found giving up milk difficult because I couldn't bear the taste of soya milk and all. But what I did was I ended up just doing 50-50. So 50 goat's milk, because I was on goat's milk by then. 50 goat's milk, 50 almond, and slowly wean myself off. With cheese, at the moment, I still haven't found a replacement. So I just gave it up. And I love
this is more. I mean, I kind of worded that, obviously, because your body was a temple kind of way, but it's not. It's the psychological aspect of it. It's knowing the lack of welfare in some cases behind how your food was ended up on the table. So it's a conscious thing.
It's a conscious thing of thinking, I don't want to condone that kind of cruelty and consume it for myself. I don't want to do it.
No, that's fair enough.
So I haven't done for 18 months.
Well, it's been fascinating speaking to another one of your guests. I might add, Kevin, who he ships them in for me. So it's all very good on that.
Plenty more to come, Roy.
Hey,
plenty more to come.
Well, there you are. Yes. So,
great.
But listen, no, it's been great, and obviously, we wish you well for the future, and hopefully, we'll see you in that dark, mysterious, deep role that you so crave.
Indeed. And when I am, can I come on and talk about it?
Damn right, you can.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roy.
Right, splendid stuff. Well, thank you very much indeed, guys.
Thank you.
So Kevin and Pauline been speaking to us for the last hour here on Bliss Radio, and it's business concluded for me. We're heading up towards midday.
From Crosby Village
to your radio.